Welcome everyone to the L7C podcast pop culture edition. Today we are going to be talking about something that I would say stirs a lot of the pop culture world, let alone the world in general, for as good or as bad it is. We're going to be doing an episode about the subject of rumors. We'll talk about why this episode came to be and go from there. We have the pop culture expert with us, Miss Chelsea Heppert. How are you doing today, ma'am?
Good. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you. So, Chelsea, today we're talking about rumors. This episode spawned, for people who don't know, the story about Mary Kate Cornett. She's a college freshman at the University of Mississippi. There was a false rumor that she said, a false rumor accusing her of basically sleeping with her boyfriend's dad, and it picked up a lot of steam, made it all the way to big shows. If you don't know, Pat McAfee, one of the biggest shows in the world right now, they basically talked about it. So once they talked about it, it really picked up steam. She talked to NBC News how it ruined her life. She didn't get an apology from anyone yet, and is just still gonna follow her forever. So once that story came out, I was like, oh, that'd be a perfect little thing. Let's just talk about rumors in general and go from there. So, for people who don't know what a rumor is, just official dictionary definition, just circulating a story or a report of uncertain or doubtful truth. So, Chelsea, this young lady talked about the negative effects that this has had on her life right now. What are some negative impacts rumors can just have in general?
I mean, it depends on the type of rumor, but also the scale. So, what she went through was on a huge level that most of us will fortunately never have to encounter or experience. And it's so sad and disheartening to for her because she is younger and now she's going to have to deal with that for years and years to come. And like if when she starts applying for jobs, like that'll pop up. If she has to date somebody else or like whatever happens, that could pop up. Or like her boyfriend's family sees that or her family sees that. Like that's a lot to deal with. And to know that people are talking about you on such a massive scale and like you're not even a celebrity or famous, like you're a normal person, and all of a sudden this like shoved you into the limelight. Um, so it depends on the type of rumor. Like we've all experienced it at one point or another about ourselves. Like it's unfortunately something we all have to go through.
Yeah, I think one of the things you said about that most of us won't have to experience. Hopefully not, but you don't know anymore because again, this young lady, she was a normal girl. It's just the fact
Right.
that her rumor got so like it got viral, then the right people saw the rumor or they sent it to McAfee and these big shows, and then they decided just on the whim, like, we're gonna talk about this, and that's when it really exploded because now you don't know. Like if someone posts something about you and it gets enough
Mhm.
traction that it gets to someone big, you don't know. Now you anyone could potentially like be in this type of situation because of how big social media and how quickly it moves.
Right. And then the other part of it is the average person isn't fact checking things. Like
Hmm.
they see a catchy headline, they see a flashy story, and it just like picks up traction and it's very like one sided. You only see what the web or the rumors like portraying it to be, and you might not get the full truth, and nobody's going to investigate further. You see the headline that so and so is sleeping with their boyfriend's dad, you take it at face value and are like, wow, that's wild. Like, I can't believe a person would ever do that. And then
Hmm.
you move on. But that thought and that impression still impacts the person who it's about.
Yeah, you put the right keywords into the rumor, like you just said, that just instantly pops off the headline. We all mindlessly scroll, and then you see dad sleeps with son's daughter. You're instantly gonna be like, "Whoa, what is that?" Or mom
Right.
sleeps with daughter's boyfriend. Like it's like, "Oh my gosh!" And then you click it, and then you start sharing it to people, then they start sharing it, and
And then the world knows.
then the world knows, and then you have a situation like this girl, like she can't even go to like classes now because everyone's looking at her because it's at the point it's like, well, how do
Right.
we know it's not true? Things like that. Are there any positive impacts that a rumor can cause?
Mm, yes and no, because rumors, hello, my voice just like did a fun thing. Going through puberty, rumors and like reputation kind of go hand in hand. And a lot of times, because like a rumor is what impacts your reputation, right?
Hmm.
So if you have a good reputation, hopefully a rumor won't necessarily tarnish it or it'll make people pause and question. But the same thing could be like on the inverse. So it's kind of hard to like say in a positive other than it might be a protection for you. So like if a rumor went around about me saying that I was a lazy coworker, hopefully most people wouldn't put much stock into it because they know firsthand or by my reputation, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. Yeah, I think it depends on who the person is and what you're trying to achieve. We did a pod a while ago about what people are willing to do to get clicks
Yeah, we did.
and what again listen to that one because all these know is kind of crazy just weaving a story. People who are searching for those clicks will do whatever it takes to an extent, and they will make rumors about themselves,
Hmm.
make so that in the hopes that it gets viral. So I guess for those people, they would see it as a positive if they become viral, then they're getting the clicks, and then you're getting on these big podcasts talking about this rumor. And sometimes when you get to the podcast, you're like, oh, I just made it up so I can get to this point. And at that point, you might already have a fan base and things
Hmm.
like that. So I guess for those people, it could be positive. But then again, it's like, at what price?
Right. And like positive, depending on the rumor, can only last so long before like the truth will hopefully come out if it's negative or like a good truth.
Yeah, and that episode that we were talking about, the search, the chasing for clicks, that was all the way back in September. That came out, published September 1st, 2024.
Oh wow, it's been a minute.
Yep, and that was literally, and that title, again, another, everyone wants to be the Hawk Tuah girl, but at what cost? What are you willing to do to go viral? And people are willing to spread those type of rumors, like, because you obviously saw back then, people were making up all different things, like, oh, instead of Hawk Tuah, I do this and this and this and that, and this
Hmm.
and this, and you probably don't, but you're just trying to be the next viral person and spreading the rumor about yourself. So I guess
Right.
that could be some positives. You brought up a great thing about fact checking. In this current age right now, I feel like since probably 2016 election onward, there's a lot, it's the age of misinformation. There's a lot of misinformation. Now, if you compare rumors before that, when we were younger, things of that, to rumors and stuff now, do you think rumors have become more dangerous?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. But I also, part of it is the technology that we have. But then I also feel like it's as we get older, rumors have a different impact like throughout your life.
Hmm.
Um, like in middle school, there was a rumor about me getting a boob job because I was one of the first girls in my class to get boobs. So, like, that in theory was a harmless rumor, but it did hurt. And I was super self conscious about it. But, like, now if there's a rumor, it would about me, it would be worse. Like, people are much more creative and have the ability to, like, hide behind what they're saying because they can just post it on social media or just like text it to a friend and then it goes from there.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think social media made it a lot worse. But I do think with that, rumor that you just said about yourself, I mean, that's just you went through puberty earlier than others, but
Right.
if you take that now and take that then and put it now with social media and all of that, that's I mean, there's some kids who just can't really deal with that because of course, like they're getting tweets about it, posts about it,
Mm-hmm.
Snapchats about it, things like that, getting all these names and like sure, back then, okay, you got maybe called those names at school. That was it. When you went home, it was your safe place. Now there really is no safe place because even if you don't get on social media, if your parents don't let you at this point, if you're still a child or it's deleted, someone's still talking about it. Somehow it's gonna get back to you. And
Oh,
you're just
absolutely.
sitting there like all these people are talking about me and now my anxiety and again, that type of stuff does lead to like younger people like taking their own lives and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. And then it's also like mental health aside, like it impacts other people in your life because they're going to start finding out like it could be someone you look up to, it could be a teacher hearing those things or whatever. And then that puts a barrier between like you and that other person in the relationship because then like that rumor is spread and like you might think they see you in a different light when that may or may not be the case. So it just kind of boxes people in.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree. Like depend and also I think with rumors too, like you said, like if it's people you look up to who find out about it or teachers and they start looking into a different light,
Mm-hmm.
even if a rumor is not true, if it comes from someone who's like very credible in your space or in
Has
the
like authority.
school or in the
Yeah.
workplace or has authority or who is like or near the top or at the top of your friend group, like if it comes from them, most people are not going to fact check it because they're like, why would this person lie? Because they've not done it before. So if they're saying it is, then it's probably true. And that could be very detrimental.
Oh, yeah. And that's a good point is looking at the source, regardless of if like you're fact checking the actual rumor or what is being said. I think people need to start putting more stock into who they're talking to, um, and be wary or like just have the ability to kind of think for themselves of, is this a credible person? Like, does this person kind of talk out of their ass and like just say things to say things or what the case may be?
Yeah, it's just crazy because those some people like narcissists or stuff like that, they don't know. It's just like, hey, if I say it's your word against mine, and let's just be honest, more people respect my word than yours, and then you're just sitting there like, and you're fighting a lie,
Right.
and it could be something crazy. I mean, or just something like nonchalant, but it just gets bigger than it is, and you're just your mental health starts getting involved, and then things
Mm-hmm.
of that nature because that has happened where someone has started a rumor. I mean, you could just think a la like Mean Girls type situation. If Regina George said something about you at the height of her powers, everyone believed it because it was Regina George.
You know what? I'm so glad you brought up Mean Girls because I've been thinking about Lindsay Lohan this whole time. So obviously she had the hit song Rumors, and by hit I mean it was a solo or a single, and it was a really good song. And the whole premise of it is like she's sick of rumors starting, um, and like people talking about her and not paying attention and just making things up when they might not necessarily know the truth. Um, and the whole music video is really good too. And I was kind of after, I think it was after Mean Girls. It was like in her peak career, like this, that, and the other thing. And her dad was starting to have problems, and people were starting to think that she was partying with Paris and Brittany, this, that, and the other. And from there, like, obviously, I, we've talked about Lindsay before. We know her story. But, like, she was victim to many a rumor. And I think that also led to how she ended up having her downfall of the career for a little bit.
Oh yeah, because it could consume you. Like you can constantly, like just constantly being hit by this stuff, especially at the famous thing where you're getting hit from everywhere. Like that can constantly consume you. Then being a normal person, if you're in your space and you go to a small high school and everyone's talking about you, or even if you go to a big high school, but you're well known enough that everyone's talking about you, or you go to a small college and everyone is talking about you, or if you go to a big college and you're higher up there and people are talking about you at work, and like that constant just beating down is just very
Hmm.
deflating.
Yeah, rumors are dangerous.
Very, very much so. What are what rumors cross the line for you and why?
Um, ooh, I've never really like we all have our lines and we all have our boundaries, but I don't think I've thought about it to that level. But I guess I don't know.
I know some that people, a general one, depending on your age, is definitely like scandalous, like workplace ones, where
Yeah.
just because if you're working with someone or things like that, and then someone starts a as a kind of like a 90s sitcom starts a rumor around the lunchroom around the water fountain like that you're with so and so, even though so and so's this and you're this, and then it spreads around work, and then it starts affecting your work, which then affects your money and like stuff like that. I feel like those ones because it's like, all right, if you're at work to do a job, there's no reason to
Right.
like start those type of like scandalous type things, nor for anything. And I mean, I'm not obviously no one's perfect here, especially like in college when you heard something like scandalous, you before you grew up and like you thought to a point where it's like, oh my gosh, is this real?
Hmm.
Is it not? And then you send it to your friends and group text, and then they all disperse it and all that stuff. And then even then, it's just like obviously you shouldn't be doing that. You should check the source. But then you start doing it in your own head. You start trying to fact check and justify it in your own head. Like, well, so and so does have this type of past. So this is probably true because they may have done something like this in the past or things like that. Or,
Right. I
uh,
also like to your point with like coworkers, I was thinking more like celebrity or like limelight
mhm.
crossing the line, but that's a good one that you mentioned. But is
Because for the worker one, I'll put it like this, and this can go in either perspective, but it's easier to speak on it from
hmm.
like the woman's perspective. Say you start a job there and I don't know first and then again maybe you like to look really nice at work, each person their own preference, some people look comfortable, whatever. And then you go out with your coworkers because hey, you want to hang out with your coworkers at night, you want to go get a drink with them, obviously this is for 21 and older, and then you could be having a good time at the bars and whatnot, and depending on who you're hanging out with, it could be someone who's, I don't know, an insecure guy or whatnot. And let's just say you danced with them, yada yada. And then
Hmm.
they, to make themselves look a lot better, send a text to the other guys at job like, hey, it went a lot further than just the dance last night. Now everyone's just talking to you a lot more than usual and you're not getting your work done. And you're basically now like, oh no, now you're, because everyone now thinks you might be like the company slut or whatnot. So,
Hmm.
and that's a thing that does,
It happens.
does happen. Happens for men too, but it's more like it does more happen on the women side statistically with that. But it's like just stuff like that because it's just like you did nothing wrong in the sense. And then more from the guys, like, especially in this age, more from the guy side, let's just say there's a new girl at work and you just hold the door or whatnot and you help them out, make them acclimated. And then the other ladies at the job might start telling, like, oh, might tell the new girl, like, oh, he just wants to sleep with you blah blah blah, even though that's not the guy's case. He's just trying to be a good coworker. And then that girl knows nothing about you, but she just heard this rumor from all these ladies, and then now she thinks about you in a certain way. So like I
Mm.
think those type of things can really affect a workplace.
Oh, for sure. And like speaking of the workplace, depending on what career path you're in, like rumors make their ways across businesses, industries, or whatever. Um, and depending on like the network and what you're doing, like communities can be very big or very small with
Hmm.
your professional career. And like that could be on blast everywhere. And you know, people are talking about it. And then you're shot like finding a new job within the space that like you currently reside in or like your comfort areas. And then you have to figure it out and either move or switch or suck it up. So like it has a larger impact than what people think.
Yeah, and that's just work. I mean, it obviously can that same thing can apply in college, but it could be a lot worse. I mean, you could just walk with someone on a college campus and they instantly think that you guys are sleeping together, that gets spread around, and then people are asking questions, and then you're just like,
Well,
you're
that can
just,
happen as an adult
it
too.
can, but more prevalently at college because everyone's at the,
Yeah.
we're all in that ecosystem.
Yeah. Like you're in that realm of life.
Hmm. But
Yeah.
you're right, it can happen as an adult. Well, especially now in the 2020 era, 2020s eras of dating and things like that. And
Mm.
now that it's just come to the thing that was like, hey, you can't be with someone unless X, Y, and Z. There's no reason. Like, if you're not with that person has no value to your life. So why are you with them? So you have to be with them. And you see, like, I show you and the street interviewers, like
Oh my God.
those people in particular are the ones who will be like, no, there's no way. And then obviously they have a big enough following, they could just type like, this person's lying, they're together, and then everyone's going to believe it.
Right. Because
So,
people don't fact check or think.
oh no, I feel like the bigger the following, the less the fact checking.
Correct. And
And
then
go ahead.
like it's not for like the rumor's sake, but like for drama's sake, people don't pay attention to timelines or to other circumstances because that's what makes a rumor gain traction. It's what makes like the drama of it all either amplified or like be able to fizzle out.
Hmm.
If people use their logic skills and pretended that they were Nancy Drew for a hot second, most of these rumors could either be solved or just they wouldn't get anywhere because it just doesn't make any sense timeline wise or like space wise or story wise, you
No,
know?
no, yeah, I agree. It's wild because it's just like, and I also we haven't talked about too from a grander scale that rumors can cause a sense of panic. Like if you there's, I mean, the past couple years, there's always a rumor like, oh, we're gonna go into World War III. Like that type of stuff. Just okay, we don't know. Like that brings extreme panic to people. Like, oh, there's rumor that this missile's gonna hit this or that or that. And it's just like
Mm-hmm.
spreading that type of panic amongst the masses. That's obviously at the
Right.
highest scale. But again, like there's no factor anything that these wars are going to happen. Like we're going to go to World War III or this and that, or it's the end of the world.
Right.
And so who has a blue check mark on whatever social media thing is tweeting or
Saying this,
posting this. So then it
that,
has to be true. And you just get yourself
in a little pickle.
in the pickle. So, but I
And then,
think, go ahead.
oh, now I don't remember what I was going to
Well,
say.
I was going to say that each person has like their threshold of rumors they could tolerate or brush off. And
Mm-hmm.
things like that until it really starts bothering them. Because hey, your threshold might be different than mine, and obviously vice versa. But it's like there comes to a point where you're like, okay, I need to address this. I need to know who's saying this. Why did you say this?
Mm-hmm.
This, that, and that. And I mean, heck, the worst ones, I mean, sometimes they're the ones who come in from maybe within your own camp because you got in an argument with someone in your camp. And gosh,
Right.
I mean, that's a middle school through, well, that's a school thing. Like, oh, we got in a
Mhm.
fight. So in elementary school, so and so kissed so and so, even though you know it's not true that, or so and so did this with and so is a whore, and so is this. And then if it's like, oh, if it's coming from like a close friend or best friend, then everyone's going to believe because it's like that's the person in your camp.
Right. And then, like, to that point, too, like, that's the person in your camp. But, like, that phrase, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Hmm.
Like, if something's said enough times or comes up enough times, people are going to start to believe it, regardless of if it's true or not. Like, if this keeps popping up, like, oh, you are known for flirting with people at work, like,
Hmm.
people are going to take it. And then if there is a rumor that you actually did something with another coworker, you're done. Like,
Yeah.
just based on that.
Yeah. And then from those things, it might be hard to get work done because you might be getting harassed. If you're looking for camaraderie at work, you're not probably getting invited to things because of that said rumor. Or even if you take that rumor home and like you're with your roommates or significant whoever you're living with, and they somehow hear that rumor, they're like, yeah, I don't want that person near you or in our house because of this
Mm,
rumor. Like it can affect you a lot. Like, and
right.
people don't think the granite sale, like it does happen.
Yeah. It 100% happens all the time.
So, I mean, but then like it's tough because sometimes those things could be beneficial. Like, oh, if going to like the school situation, if someone finds out because it's a rumor till there's truth, a kid is being harassed by a student. I mean, a teacher is harassing a kid or sexually assaulting them, and they find out through the grapevine. And like the only way they can shed light is telling people that, so it
Right.
spreads like that. Then that could be a positive in itself. But it's just like might as well just go straight to authorities.
Right.
But then again, on the flip side, that could ruin a teacher. Like a teacher can be, and I've actually have a firsthand experience from this from my day job. Like a teacher can be doing everything they're supposed to do right,
Hmm.
and a student gets a bad grade. What's the student do? Instantly say, "Oh, I've been sleeping with this teacher X, Y, and Z," even though it's not true. You start a
Yep.
rumor like that, the teacher's getting investigated. They might get their stuff suspended until proven innocent, and then like in this day and age, it's guilty until proven innocent, which is terrible. But then they're going through mental stress and then they just might quit. And then the student got what they want. It's like, oh, yeah, nope, that never really
Hmm.
happened. I just got a bad grade and I wanted to get
And
back to them. And some of these
yeah,
kids are that evil now.
right. And like, that's the thing is, people, like, you have, if you're purposely spreading rumors, think about what you're actually spreading. Like, if it's, and there is a difference between like spreading a rumor and gossip. I am a firm believer in that. And then there's also harmful gossip and harmless gossip. Just be mindful and know your audience, and like, no, yeah, like, everyone has that one or two people that you tell everything with, and like, it's unfiltered and you don't hold back. But like, think about what it's doing to the other people, but then think about what it's doing to you. Because if you're the one who's constantly talking about these rumors or gossips or scandals, people are going to think of you as the person who craves drama or puts their nose in places where it doesn't belong, or whatever the case may be. So then you're harming your image and your reputation. So just think before you speak.
Most people, that's a lost art, especially these days.
Yeah.
It's speak first so you can get the first word out.
Yeah. And like, we're all guilty of it, like, or have been like part of it at a younger age or whatever the case may be. And nobody's perfect. Everyone's like Hannah Montana. Everybody has those days. But just keep doing your best. And like, if you mess up, own it. And like, if you feel guilty about it, you're probably feeling guilty for a reason and just apologize, or don't participate and don't spread that rumor.
Tough. I mean, because your brain's wired that, you don't have FOMO. You don't want to have the fear of missing out. So you might partake or you might say it's stupid or,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then those things happen. And then here we are. And then that person's going on their social media saying that, like, I didn't do X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. They're really hurt and they've had to go to therapy because of this rumor. And,
Or you get investigated.
or you get investigated, depending on how the severity of the rumor is right now. I mean, because I just again, if you were with, like, I don't know, big time marketing person or a cop or whatnot, and you had a terrible interaction and they were jilted by you and they walked
Mm-hmm.
into your job and said that you sexually assault kids, your job has to investigate it because they can't take the risk of not investigating it and then it blowing up on them.
Yeah.
And then you're just sitting here going through all this drama, like, I don't do that. You guys know I don't do that. We know, but since this did come out and this is public, we got to go through all the HR investigations. We got to put you on leave, all of that stuff. Like, that's how strong some of these things can really come and, like, really ruin people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think the moral of the story all is this: don't don't spread rumors. Do fact checking. I mean, and just a simple thing like a courtesy. I know that I did, especially as I got older, from like middle to high school and so on. It's like you hear something about someone, and if you're friendly enough with that person, text them individually on the side and say, "Hey, this is what's being said about you. Is it
Mm-hmm.
true?" And if they say it's not true, you leave it at that. And if it was true and they lied to you, then you know that person's a liar. So
Right.
sometimes it's easy just to ask who go straight to the person and like,
Exactly.
hey. So,
And sometimes they might not even have any idea. So you might be helping them out.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Anything else, Miss Hepburn?
Mm, no, I
Yeah,
don't think so. Well, mm,
go ahead.
I still want to hear gossip about life, but just I'm not going to be like harmful gossiping. That's my final statement, you know?
I do. I do understand. I do understand that. And just like we were talking, each of us have our own threshold because what could be harmful gossip between the two of us could be hurting someone else because that's just their threshold level.
Exactly.
So I think with the biggest story, respect everyone's threshold level.
Yeah. And if you know somebody's uncomfortable with it, shut up.
Yeah, that's the truth. Easy peasy. With that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Make sure you like, rate, comment, subscribe wherever you listen to. We'll definitely be back talking about pop culture topics and things of that nature. You don't have to, this it was not that big a gap between the last times. So we're definitely back with new topics, new exciting things, and be on the lookout for that. You guys take care. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.